Well, another tough one for the Chiefs last week. They had chances, but as the case has been all too often this year, they just came up a few plays short. But we're still alive in the playoff hunt, and all they can control is the game right in front of them. And this week, it's a rematch of Week 1 as the Chargers come to town. Well, let's start by going over what a potential path to the postseason looks like for the Chiefs, and it's not terribly complicated, but we'll need some help. First, the Chiefs need to win their final 4 games and get to 10-7. That's pretty obvious, and it's the part of this they can actually control. We also need the Colts to lose 2 of their final 4 games, and if the Chiefs can beat the Chargers on Sunday, we'll then need them to lose at least one of their next 2 matchups, at Dallas or against Houston, before losing the season finale to Denver. The game against Denver is critical because of tiebreakers. So, one more time, the Chiefs need to win their final 4, the Colts need to lose 2 of 4, and the Chargers need to lose 2 of their final 3, with one of those being their Week 18 game against the Broncos. There's some other small details in this too when it comes to other teams, 3-way ties and all that, but for the most part, this is the path. None of it matters though if the Chiefs can't get back in the win column, and that means finding a way to win some of these close games, which has really been the story of the season. The Chiefs have been in every game they've played this year. 6 of their 7 losses have been within 1 score, 4 of which by a field goal. And even though the Texans technically won by 10 last week, that was essentially a 1-score game until the final seconds. All of those close losses mean that the Chiefs own the 10th best scoring differential in the NFL at plus 63, only 10 points behind 11-2 Denver, and better than 7 teams currently in the postseason picture. It's also 7 points better than where the Chiefs were this time last year when Kansas City was 12-1. Now, this isn't an excuse. Losses count the same if you lose by 3 or by 40. It just goes to show what a strange season this has been, and it's actually historic. The Chiefs are just the 2nd team in the Super Bowl era to have a point differential of 60 or greater through 13 games, but to lose at least 7 of them. Now, there's still time to flip this narrative, but it has to begin on Sunday against the Chargers team that's battled plenty of adversity on its own, notably with injuries along their offensive line. They've lost numerous impact players up front over the course of the season, and the result has been 23 sacks on Justin Herbert since Week 9, second most of any quarterback in the NFL. The Eagles got Herbert 7 times last week, pressuring him on 64% of his dropbacks, and they often did so without blitzing. Now, to Herbert's credit, the dude is tough. Already playing with a broken hand, he overcame all of that pressure to lead the Chargers to a big win on Monday night, but that constant pressure obviously had a major impact on the Chargers offense. There's a reason the Chargers' top 4 pass catchers, and Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, and Oronde Gadsden, all of whom have at least 500 receiving yards this year, combined to catch 7 passes for just 49 yards on Monday. It was pressure, and the Chiefs will need to generate some consistent pressure of their own on Sunday. The good news is that Kansas City's defense, and their pressure rate specifically, was one of the bright spots from Sunday's loss to Houston. The Chiefs pressured Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud on 66% of his dropbacks last week as Chris Jones put together maybe his best game of the year so far, racking up a season-high 8 pressures. George Karlaftis recorded 5 pressures, Ashton Gillotte racked up a career-best 5 pressures, and it all combined to hold Houston to just 67 yards in the second half. It was actually the 3rd time this year that the Chiefs held an opponent to fewer than 100 total yards in the second half of a game, and they'll need a similar effort against the Chargers on Sunday. Now, speaking of defenses, the Chargers have a good one too. It's the number 9 scoring defense in the NFL at just under 21 points allowed per game. They've been great on 3rd down, 4th best in the NFL, and they're excellent against the pass, holding opponents to just 173 net passing yards per game. That's 5th best in the NFL, and they're 2nd in the league with 15 interceptions. And a big reason behind that success, no surprise, it's their pass rush. Khalil Mack, now in his 12th season, is having another solid year. He has 28 pressures and 4.5 sacks. Tui Tuipulotu continues to establish himself as one of the top young pass rushers in the league. He leads this team in sacks with 10. And one of the more under-the-radar midseason moves for any team this year that's really paid off is the Chargers' acquisition of Odafe Oweh from the Ravens. He's only been there 8 games, but he's 3rd on their team in pressures with 21 and 2nd in sacks with 5. Now, I thought the Chiefs' offensive line really stepped up last week despite missing a bunch of starters. Esa Pole, specifically, in his first ever regular season game, and with Danielle Hunter on the other side, held his own and gave the Chiefs a chance to win last week. But the challenge doesn't get any easier on Sunday, and we'll need another strong performance up front from whoever's in there. So, weird season for the Chiefs so far. It's certainly not what any of us expected, but there's still meaningful football left to be played, and the Chiefs can still climb out of this thing if we can get some help. But none of that matters if we don't take care of our own business, and that has to begin on Sunday.